Hello, welcome to the Scratch Track, episode 2. It's been a while since my last update, and oh, look at this little girl. Oh. Yeah. But it's called the Scratch Track because of her. She's our studio kitty. Anyways, today we've got Anthony Stoika all the way from Harpers, Ferry, West Virginia, and Alejandro Villareal from Lorton, Virginia. And we're gonna talk about what it's like being a musician outside of a metropolitan area and stuff. And yeah, I realized that it's been a while since our last upload. That's because I was out of town and on tour for a bit. And I just needed some time off and sleep and slacked off. But anyways, here we go. Now, how do I get out of this? Anybody?
Sure.
Sure.
Was it at least noon beer? Okay, it's at least noon beer.
It's at least noon beer.
No, it's an evening. It's after my shift.
Yeah,
So what are we drinking?
This is Solace Outpost, or Solace Brewing.
Sponsored, not sponsored.
Not
It's
sponsored.
self-brewing.
But this is where we have the session every month, which you're going to be missing.
Sorry, I'm going to Spain.
España?
Yeah.
I see where your priorities lie, you know.
I know.
It is what it is. So
This is great. I don't really like IPAs, and this is solid.
Yeah, so it is a
Mine
session,
doesn't.
right? It's like lighter, so
Yeah.
you can drink more of it.
Oh.
I mean, for reals, that's what that is.
The point.
Did I forget to turn off the phones? Well, welcome to the Scratch Track podcast.
Here we are.
It's called Scratch Track because I've got a cat.
That's really cute.
And half of your sound dampening things are also scratcher posts.
Actually, she's been really good about
Really?
that. She doesn't scratch
Even the giant cardboard ones?
Yeah, she doesn't mess with any of that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, you know.
But yeah, man. So what do you guys do?
Okay.
Okay, so like you're from West Virginia.
Yes. It only took me... It was an hour 10 to get here.
What's it like to be a musician out in West Virginia? Like,
Lonely.
You know what they say, if you're alone, you know, you're just in bad company or something. If you feel lonely when alone, you're in bad company. You know, whatever that saying is.
Harsh.
That's how I feel. I'm in
Now
terrible
there's a couple guys by me that like play a ton. A lot of them play in bluegrass, folk music stuff.
Yeah.
There's a really big, well-established fusion band. Not the four guys. It's just a big in that area. They tour a ton. Not a lot of jazz happening.
Peter Heise is out there though.
He's from Frederick. He's out in Maryland, so
Ooh.
he's a whole 45 minutes closer to here than I am.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So I guess like living out in the country is like you have to drive to gigs because you're in Frederick with Eric Bird.
Yeah.
The session.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's 40 minutes. That's probably the minimum for me to get to any gig is at least a half hour, which isn't. I don't know. I've lived out in the trees for a long time, so
Yeah.
I'm used to a half. I mean, how long does it take you to get into DC from here?
Like a fucking hour.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's no different.
Yeah.
It's just I don't have traffic.
Yeah.
I get to see trees and stuff on my way here instead of sitting at a standstill.
And you're in the same boat too, with like in
Yeah.
Woodbridge, right?
Yeah, I live in Lorton, so it's like
She just looks at us.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was right there.
I didn't either.
she's on the prowl.
Hi, buddy.
Hola, gatito.
Oh yeah, don't move my microphones.
Purr into it, that'd be great. That'd actually be cool.
But yeah, you're in not Woodbridge.
In Lorton, so it's like they're basically the same. I usually just say Woodbridge because it's like a weird appendix side of like, you know, like Fairfax and then Woodbridge, you know.
What's the jazz scene like out there?
It's not, you know. It's just like we are Fairfax still technically, so like all the Northern Virginia scene is basically there. But for me, similar, you know, it's crazy. He lives a state away, and we drive the same distance to get to a gig, you know, because like everywhere around here is what, like 35 minutes on average.
Yeah.
like places to like from Lorton to Vienna, it's like 35 minutes.
Is that because of traffic or just
No,
straight
that's
distance?
just like distance.
Yeah.
But if it is traffic, it's like
Hour and
an
a half.
hour.
Yeah.
No, an hour and 10. On a worse scenario. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty dope, and like I think I like it because it's like secluded enough that like it's quiet, and so it feels you don't see a lot of the buzz from the cities that
Yeah.
I was like running away from. So it's cute, and I like it a lot.
That's nice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder, man, if like you're out in the suburbs or something, like how do you work? Where do you work? Like what kind of stuff do you guys get into for work?
Well, that's teaching in a day gig.
Well, things I want to avoid.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Well, the teaching, I don't know. When I went to school, I purposely didn't do a mus ed degree because I knew I didn't want to school teach.
Yeah.
So I did a performance thing, because I have absolutely no interest in wrangling a pile of middle schoolers. So I've been private teaching forever. Tech.
Most of your private teaching's online too, right?
No, that it shifted pretty much all back to in person. I've got a couple that all do online still. I think I have 2 or 3 that I started online in the pandemic, and then I've never met them ever face to face. I've kept them online since. It's weird, but no, they're all everyone but like 3 people I think are back to in person. Mm-hmm. And then the convenient thing about my teaching is with the day gig I have at Shepherd, most of my teaching's also at Shepherd. So I'm in the same building. I just do my day gig, walk to the other side of the building and teach. And that's uber convenient.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Do you teach like your own personal students out of there as well?
Yeah, that's what it is. They have a community music program thing, so it's just like like a music and arts but through the university.
That's awesome,
yeah. And then I in 2022 I think I was the person in charge of that whole program, like organizing all their summer programs, they have like jazz classes, a bunch of string ensembles and other stuff, and I was the human in charge of all of that for a year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For listeners who don't know Shepherd University, Shepherdstown, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So is that part of West Virginia not like what you would think of as typical West Virginia, or it's?
Yeah, it is. It's the whole state. Where's the camera? The state is this shape. I live here. And that's where Shepherdstown is. It's much better than Minton for Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I always wonder because like I've been to parts of West Virginia, but apparently I've only been to like the hippie towns of West Virginia.
Yeah, because you've done Thomas Davis.
Yeah.
Where you were in Princeton. Yeah.
Apparently it's all like the
those are the nice artsy places. Yeah. But you still, when you're driving there, you like drive by this shack that looks like it's been abandoned for 20 years, and then someone's sitting out there having their morning coffee, and you go, holy crap, someone lives there, which is a little terrifying. Okay, that's near the road from me to get to like Thomas and Davis. You go through a lot of that.
Yeah. Kind of wonder what the arts stuff is out there.
Well, I don't know why it is like in those couple towns out there. It's weird that there's such hubs of that.
Yeah.
And that's not even. I've never been down to Morgantown, where the other big university is.
Yeah.
But that I think has less than like Thomas and Davis.
That's where Ben Trimble's at, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I also met this drummer. Like I was on tour last week, and this drummer's from out there. Camden Southern?
Yeah,
Dude.
That name sounds familiar.
That guy. Oh. So, I mean, there's stuff going in West Virginia, like...
Well, the thing with Morgantown is it's, again, our map. It's like here. And so it's a 2-hour drive to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And that's where the jazz guys that I've known that have gone to school out there just go to Pittsburgh on the weekend and play and do stuff up there because it's not that far.
Yeah, 2 hours, that's a typical Sunday on DC traffic.
Well, that's better than your commute up to New York and back for
1 day.
Yes.
I'm crazy. Like, yeah, I drive so much. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago, like maybe like 2 months. Or
you went up there to take a lesson or something, right?
No, actually, I went up to pick up a guitar. And so like I left at like 6. I got there around like 11, and then I drove immediately back to make a hit at like at 6. So I don't know. I'm not built like that anymore.
Well,
Like it took me a little bit longer than I want to admit to recover from it.
Well, didn't you say when you moved down here from Philly, you just didn't tell the Philly people and kept taking gigs and would just do that commute?
What I could do, it wasn't much, but still enough to like keep the reputation going, I guess. Yeah. But it's like one of those things that like, I don't know, like we're so connected with social media.
Yeah.
Here's my age showing, but like there's no excuse not to be able to play up there if like you know people that want to play and whatnot. Yeah. And it's like, I guess the only excuse is to drive. Like a lot of these things may not be worth it financially, but like for the hang and for just like getting to meet these people you want to play with, it's always a lot of fun, I think. Yeah. But because like we get used to like certain sounds, I think like DC, Northern Virginia sounds like a certain thing. Philly sounds like a certain thing. New York sounds like a certain thing. And so, like, kind of getting used to that is, is what I want to explore.
That's being loud. I think you were one of the quieter guitarists
yeah?
I've met.
Well, it's good. Your tone's great.
Yeah.
It sounds, there's more tone to it than a guitar that's cranked.
Sophistication.
It's probably because your amp's, like, smaller, right? So when you crank it up, it has that sound without being overbearing?
No, that's at 9 o'clock right now. That's like a quarter, of it.
It's like quiet.
I'm not afraid to use it.
How does that work with the, how big's the space for the hotel gigs?
So a lot of them are just background gigs, corner gigs,
Yeah,
and
so
so like, there hasn't been an issue where I've had to push this past like noon. And like it's a 60-watt amp, so it's not too terribly like small. Most amps are like 100 watts, like tube amps, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it works for what I want it to do, Like I like a more intimate sound, like having nice guitars. I'm trying to like have the instruments breathe and like truly like come out and like get a lot of that color versus like having the amp truly color it all. I try to have most of my instruments come out through the amp. Yeah. So like I use an acoustic amp actually, just because like there's less like of that like compression that you get. Actually, that's a lie. It might be technically, but like in my opinion, some tube amps have like a bit of like a squeeze to them that like whenever you hit a note, it kind of like blooms in and out or something. But this one feels more like a weird PA that just is giving you a more transparent sound, I think. At least for what I have found, what I like it to do. Maybe to a fault, but
that sounds good.
I like it in smaller scenarios. Yeah.
That's nice, dude. Because like
the moment I put a distortion, it's game over. Like it sucks. It's so bad, but it is what it is.
But yeah.
Well, that's close to what you like playing quiet, so you have the dynamic range and the tone and stuff.
I don't want to feel like I'm raping the drums all the time.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
But that's funny too, because with the jazz stuff, you have it tuned so high, you can get a little less of that color stuff because it's just ping all the time.
But then you can hit it really quiet and it sings like. And then even my loud gigs, like when I'm playing all the rock stuff,
well, it's tuned flappy.
Yeah, and then stage volume is really quiet because they mic the drums.
Yes.
So why do I have to like play hard?
No, you don't
like,
kill yourself.
Yeah.
There's just no point.
I just like there being the option to move the floor forward,
Yeah.
Because like sometimes like you can get drowned out as a guitarist if like the energy comes up, or at least I do, based on my playing style. And I like being able to like, as I said, feel more of the response on my instrument. And like I feel like if I'm all the way loud, it gives me less ability to like control stuff with my right hand or but that's just here and there.
There's a jam out by me that turns into a fusion jam very quickly, and that's I used to bring the vibes out a lot to that, and I was playing with like Bolter Greens at some point, and couldn't and still couldn't hear myself.
I was just about to say like Bolter Green.
Yes, no, that's oh god, no, and still couldn't hear myself. So and I don't want to. So yeah, it's just I'd rather same thing, have the noise floor be lower so you can have options.
Yeah,
and not kill yourself.
Have you ever been like in the middle of a conversation and someone just whispers? They're like, okay, you immediately just kind of like pay more attention.
That's dope because you invite them into your space and they listen more intently
like,
rather than
you're on my terms now.
Yeah,
like, I am the one speaking.
If you're shouting at someone, they're not gonna listen to you. Like,
but like I don't know, like especially with like this music, like we're all students of it, I think, and like I always try to find ways to like be a little bit more intimate with it because like it is relatively intimate,
Yeah.
when it comes to this, like as a harmonic instrument, like you gotta like really choose, hey, why did I choose this voicing, to accompany this? Am I just trying to show off this cool voicing I learned on this Instagram video, or am I trying to like
Yes.
support it, But yes, nice guitar hacks 101. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do a lot of hotel gigs?
I try to, like I recently started teaching a lot more. I got like this thing that's like a more of a commitment every weekday, and it's like consistent. But a lot of that, it like ends exactly when most gigs start, and I'm there. I'm like, wow, like I can attend the gig, I can show it, I can sit there for like 90% of it, but like I cannot show up on the downbeat. And I'm there.
Yeah. Is that the one in Georgetown?
Yeah. So I'm up in Georgetown now, which has been really nice. I love it. I love teaching. It's like something that I've like kind of like stepped up to. Like it's not something I considered much like when I was like gigging a lot and everything, but it has slowly found itself in my heart and something that I like doing a lot more. But getting out of Georgetown around 6 has been so demoralizing because like it's like a 20, actually that's a lie, allegedly, it can take me, depending on the speeding, it can take you 25 minutes to get out of Georgetown to where I live. It takes about 40 minutes. But around that time, getting out there, it's like, it's about an hour and like 30 minutes, because there's like this span of like 4 blocks getting out of like the Key Bridge that is just, man, like it's been so demoralizing because it's like I stand still for like 50 minutes on like 4 blocks of traffic, and it's like I go home and I'm like exhausted.
Yeah, that's our key.
But so cute. Calico.
She's a tortie. Tortie calico. She's every cat.
Both of my cats are torties too.
No.
Yes.
How old is she?
We don't know. We got probably like 3 or 4. We went to a cat cafe and brought her home.
Nice. That's how to get you.
Yeah.
To have you play with them for like an hour and then you're like, oh.
Apparently she was a return from...
Oh.
Really?
Because I guess like the family that took her home had a baby, and she didn't do well with the baby, and I can see why, because she's...
Needy.
She's vicious. Like...
look at this. So vicious.
Yeah. Vicious! You're vicious! But if you don't, like, read her, when she tells you enough's enough, like, she will let you know with, like, a paw or claws sometimes. She's a sweetie.
Yeah. But yeah, like, hotel gigs is something that I like getting into. And, like, I guess this is something that you guys must feel, being, like, I guess, quote-unquote, outsiders from this, like, music scene.
Yeah.
Like, that's a conversation that I've had with a few people recently, especially, like, good friends of mine that, like, have all kind of, like, immigrated over to the scene, and like it's kind of like you're looking inwards,
Yeah.
And it's a very like interesting thing because like I grew up in this area, for like the latter half of my high school career, and like I wasn't really like playing this type of music then, and like I went off to college to Philly for a few years, and like over there, like the scene is extremely warm. It's like a really beautiful scene. I love all those musicians up there. And then coming down here, I think it's just the area where like it's very like it feels like it's a different area. If you know what I mean. It's like a most weird way to describe it, but I feel like it's a very like beautiful scene that I'm like experiencing as an outsider. Even though I was born here, so there's like a weird cognitive dissonance, of it. But like,
because you were here, but not like
not doing
in
music.
the scene before, yeah.
But it's always like interesting because like you meet all these musicians that like have been working here for like many years, and like there's always every week I'm learning about new musicians that I've never known of, but that they have been working on the behind the scenes stuff for many years, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you have a similar experience out in California? Because you didn't do jazz till you were getting out of college.
Yeah.
So was that weird? Like when you started getting into that, was it like you saw this world of people that had been doing it for years?
A little bit, but so when I started playing drum set, that was my senior year of college. I was hanging out at a session almost every night of the week. So I was already sort of in the scene by the time I got out, like, but I was there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a deal because I was already hanging out at everything. Yeah, that was good times. But out here, like, because moving here 2 years ago, I sort of found myself in the scene a little bit, and it wasn't too hard to get into it, but I was hanging out at everything, right?
I think our instruments also play a huge part of it,
Yeah.
because like everybody needs a drummer, especially a good one. It's like one of those things that like
I'm just quiet. That's what that is.
That's good. That's good. They're like, yo,
all the background shit, yo.
You're so mature for your play, and it's like,
Yeah, but what happened was I started going on tour and started saying no to gigs, and then the phone stops ringing.
Oh yeah.
So like all the casuals started to disappear a little bit.
Like it's a short-term memory thing, like
Yeah.
the moment you can't take a gig, it's like,
Yeah,
like, oh, I can't say no too many times, and like
that's what it is.
it's part of it, and I think that brings into the consideration of it. Like, there's a lot of like agencies out there that like can hire and stuff like that, but like it's like you get signed and all of a sudden you get like 1 gig a year, and it's like, ooh, but like I don't know, it'd be nice to hear about those and like learn about those.
Yeah, but now I'm more concerned about like trying to build a scene where there isn't a scene. That's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. I think I was having a conversation a few while back with a few people, and the concept of it is like it's very difficult to get into a scene, but it's almost easier to create a scene, and like build a connection off of it, and then all of a sudden the worlds overlap, and then you get like adopted into it or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I'm always curious about it because like in my experience it's just very like one-sided perspective. I imagine like being out there where you're at in the middle of this thingy, like, how like like how you try to breathe life into your scene, because like you're connected to like a university, so you get to see a lot of musicians, so that gives you an opportunity to like introduce people or vice versa. Where like you're always like in the happening, so like being able to like build something off of that I think is pretty dope as well, and like it's a hard challenge,
Yeah. But then there's a scene in Leesburg, and then there's a scene in DC, and there's nothing in between, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
there is actually, but it's like privatized, like like there's a few universities in the area that like have like a chokehold on all of that, and it's like it makes sense. They've been established here longer, they have reputable musicians, and so like of course they run that scene, but it's like
when I think of a scene, I don't just think of like money paying. I think about musicians who want to hang out and like get together and go to sessions.
There's
and,
the same thing in Maryland too. There's like nothing from the Beltway to Frederick.
yeah.
Like from Silver Spring to Frederick, there's Gaithersburg, Rockville, all that
Yeah.
stuff. There's nothing.
Grant is Maryland was trying to start a thing for a minute.
At the Hank Deal's place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was him, and then there was another piano player, Terry Marshall, I think. I haven't met him, but he tried starting a session out in Gaithersburg, and then they had one, and that was it.
It's almost more demoralizing than doing it like twice, once and done. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's hard to like build. I don't know.
I think I think that's a very great point, about like there's a bunch of empty space to be filled. It's almost like a tease, it's like, oh, there's so much opportunity, there's such a blank canvas in front of us.
But is that because the places that are there don't want to present it? Do you have to like find a way to market having a gig there that for whatever reason they're just not biting at?
It depends, like I wish I could say that like there's a rhyme or reason to it, but I think it's just kind of random, man. Like sometimes people get bored of not having music, and then they're like, I think we should do music. I kept seeing these places on Instagram that are doing music. I want to be like them, and so they hire musicians, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's also places that are like not doing so well on the business aspect of it, and the last hurrah is to have musicians come and bring all these people. And depending on the style of music and that weird commitment, it's like, that's a huge ask,
Yeah,
like, they're like, why don't you bring in 100 people today? I'm there, I'm like, and they're like, I don't know 100 people today.
I don't know 100 people, and I play jazz.
Yeah.
So
Shit!
It's gonna scare away the 10 that are already in there.
Yeah, you're there to hit them with like, a solid little chord. They're like,
Ooh, nope. Nope. Not Country Roads. It's not Dave Matthews. Run away.
But yeah, like it's one of those things that like I feel like the opportunity is there, and like maybe I'm just like gaslighting myself into being optimistic about it, but like I feel like there's so much more that I just don't know, like how to like traverse this area.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think that just comes from like not really understanding how this scene moves, you know, and like being able to respect that and like thoroughly. I don't want to like step on other people's gigs, you know. That's always kind of weird.
But this area is interesting because there's a lot of musicians who live here.
Mm-hmm.
But the hang is still in DC or Leesburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's expensive too to go out, you know.
That's why I live where I live.
Yeah.
Everything's cheap.
Yeah, here no.
Dude, I always wondered, man. Like, it's kind of cool that if you're a musician in a country rapper, you can still like be a musician.
Yeah.
Because Caleb, not me.
He's in Leesburg, right? I think it's Nye.
Nye?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Sorry, Caleb. Don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Well, and then
he's out.
Quentin lives near me too. Quentin's in Brunswick, Maryland, which is again our map, right about here, right next to there's a little that nub of West Virginia, the Potomac and Shenandoah Rivers, and there's West Virginia, Maryland, and Virginia all right next to each other, and Quentin lives in Brunswick right there, which is not that's. It's 25 minutes from me, but
yeah. But I always wondered, like, because it's doable. Because Caleb's actually out by Front Royal or something. He's
seriously, holy crap!
But that's like on 66 though, so that can be pretty accessible.
That's true.
That's true.
Like,
and he's close enough to like Winchester or Shenandoah is at.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm very fortunate because I live in Lorton. It's right off of 95, and so like I can get on 95 like that, you know.
Yeah.
And so like getting anywhere is not usually an issue. I can get on the Parkway. No problem. And so like because of that, it makes it worth it living all the way out there, even though like most of my friends live literally everywhere else, you know. And so like it's like, yeah, you know, I get the peace and quiet, I get a separation from home and like work, you know, going out and about. And it's like I guess it is accessible, but like it's very like it can be pretty demoralizing if like you're like stuck in traffic. You know, that's really where my crutch of it comes. Like, man, 495. Ugh. So, like, you know, but yeah, that's how
but yeah, it's like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So did you just start the teaching gig or?
I started teaching at the beginning of this year at this new place, like around February, and a lot of it is like younger kids, so getting used to like relating to kids, you know. I feel old already, you know, but it's fun, and like it's such a crucial age to like at that age, you know. I feel like a lot of people like you hear them later on in life, you know. I talk to people that went into like engineering or went into like computer science or something, and they're like, man, I wish I would have continued doing what you're doing. You know, I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I wish I would have done it. I'm like, the grass is greener, you know?
Dude, I feel like you're in, like, a really good era to start teaching kids now, too, because the rock band era's gone. The Guitar Hero era's gone, right?
Well, who made the argument that Taylor Swift is the new Guitar Hero?
Wait, what?
Somebody made that argument, you know? Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but, like, it's getting guitars in people's hands, you know? So, like, it's one of those things where, like, it doesn't really matter who inspires you as long as it inspires you. Yeah, But yeah, it's for me, it's pretty important, and I didn't really realize the importance of my job until the last couple years, where like, at that age group, man, like you make or break a relationship with someone in music, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you hear like, even peers and friends that I know that like, I took lessons when I was younger, man, but I hated it, my teacher was mean, made me do recitals, all this other stuff, you know? And that, even though, you know, in retrospect may not be that big of a deal, but to them it was a massive thing.
It
you
is,
know?
yeah.
And so my job is, you know, to teach kids music, right? But my priority is to instill curiosity of music in kids, because you can only teach a person so much in like a half-hour lesson or an hour lesson or like a class, right? But if you like plant like a bug in them to want to continue learning more, and they come back next week and they're like, yo, check out these 10 measures I added to this thing.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I try to do, you know, like, it's a goal, but, you know, hopefully I succeed in it. But most of my kids that I teach have been very curious about it, which I'm very happy about. So it's really rewarding.
What's up, dude?
Sorry, I had a
Look
work
who decided
call.
to come back.
You know.
No, that's actually really great to hear, man. Because, like, when I teach, man, it's always been about priority one is fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just hearing it from you talking about curiosity, and that's, like, that's very good. Like,
yeah. One of the things that I wish I learned earlier was how to practice, you know? Like, people say, oh, you have to learn how to practice, and they just never, like, give you any advice on it. They're like, figure it out, because it's so personal, right? But one of the things I challenge myself to do is be able to, like, kind of, like, work with my students based on what I know of them, how I know them, like, what their aspirations are. Being able to, like, find a way to instill some sort of, like, as I said earlier, curiosity to practice, to learn, or something like that, so that, like, they have the tools, you know, to carry on. Like,
and they, like, when they leave
Yeah.
you, to still be interested and curious in it
Yeah.
and keep playing,
This is, like,
regardless where they go.
the worst business practice on me, and, like, actively shoots me in the foot is, like, I truly want my kids to, like, not need me in, like, a year or
Yeah.
two. You know, I want them to fly on their own. You know, I don't want to, like, carry their hand through them. I want them to have the tools so that they can figure out their own stuff and start, like, setting better goals for themselves, you know, which is fulfilling musically, but also financially a huge detriment. I'm there, like, really burning my bridges real quick with that, but no. But it's definitely one of those things that I appreciate, and it's been a lot of fun to do.
that's pretty cool.
Did you do much teaching when you were out in California? Yeah. I know you said we've talked about the pay disparity between there and here, but I've never heard about, like, how big your studio was.
So I had a studio of, like, 30 to 40 kids.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you said yours is, you're, like, through an actual school, so your teaching
Yeah.
is earlier in the day, right?
So it's like 3 to 6 usually,
Great. Yeah.
you know. So don't hire me for gigs after during those times, you know. Please. But I'm sure I'm available. I
Gigs
swear.
that start at 7:30 or 8.
7 to 7,
But traffic.
That's
You
pretty
can
good.
get out of
7 to
Georgetown.
7:30?
7 to 9, dude. Like 7 to 9 gigs. That's my goal right now. I have my eyes set on a few places.
Just start nudging, go to every place and go, you should move your gig to 7 to 9.
Yeah.
No, I tried to pull that on a few places, and they're like, no, I'm there. I'm like, please.
Most, well, I guess, like, the DC stuff usually starts pretty late, though,
Starts
right?
like 7, yeah. But, like, the thing about
Like the
it,
background gigs or, like, the jams? Because the jams
background
start later.
gigs, too.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
like 8
background
to
stuff.
1.
Yeah.
Peter Jam.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have it in me to, like, run a jam session like that for that late anymore, you know. Like, yeah. But yeah, like, finding a gig at 7 would be perfect. Very perfect. Maybe too convenient, you know. But, it's, I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. I was thinking of a perfect world, you know, with, like, all my gigs.
I've got a pianist friend that works at a Catholic school out by me that she works, like, normal school day hours, and all
Really?
she does is teach.
That's
And that's so she's done by 3 or
5.
4, yeah, if that. And then she also teaches at Shepherd where I teach, so she does that and then does more private studio teaching after that, and that's the only thing she does. So that's
awesome.
Those are good gigs because you can gig more. It leaves your evenings free and stuff. Most of I don't think I'm almost every day when I teach I'm there till 7:30 or 8, which is then rough for, like, doing any gigs during the week or stuff.
Yeah.
I managed to cram mine in, like, the weekdays, like, 3 to 9, you know, like, and the weekend I was free to do whatever.
Oh, I've refused to teach on a Saturday or Sunday. I've never, no. Even, like, Fridays I try to keep empty as best I can. Yeah. I had one of the other schools I teach at, I was there on a Monday and a Friday and had 5 hours straight with no breaks each day. Yeah.
It's pretty rad, though, like, there's enough students out in, like, Harpers Ferry and Shepherd. You know, like, that's...
It's like the most backhanded compliment.
No,
I'm
but-
trying
it's like...
I'm trying to instigate something. You know? Trying to keep the
You wanna-
viewers entertained.
more-
Yeah, like,
It's that, and there's 3 drum teachers.
fair. Yeah.
It's there's 2 middle schools I get almost all the students from because there's, like, 3 of us that teach lessons out there, and that's it.
And every area has its own way of, like, doing things, and, like, getting to learn an area takes a while, you know, and, like, truly know it takes many years, I think. But, you know, time passes
networking.
regardless. You know?
I've always had, being as far out as I am, my gigs in this area have always been person dependent. So there's like a person that I gig with like a ton for like a year and a half, and then that just dies, and then I'm floundering for months, and then someone else, and I play a bunch of gigs.
But you do a bunch of stuff like with Loud and Jazz Society, the library gigs, right?
Yeah, I do.
How's that?
Oh, it's great. It's an hour and a half of they kind of don't care what you do as long as it sounds okay. It's a good time. And that's not even through the Loud Jazz Society. That's just I emailed their program coordinator.
No shit.
Yeah, I just sent a cold call email like, here's recordings of stuff. Do you want music? Yeah.
Wait, do you send it to the library? Do you send it to the city? Do you...
A lady that works for the library. Yeah, because it's not the city; it's the whole county. Yeah, I had one good solid run where I think I had like 8 in like 2 months or something like that. That was just like I even stacked it where I would like go to one library in the morning, go to the next, go to one after that. I played one in Sterling that I was playing over top of a kimchi making class. So I got free kimchi when I was done. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I mean, Glenda used to play vibes for a yoga class.
Beautiful.
Like,
Yeah. There's a is he? I don't know if he's a California dude. Chris Dingman. Does that name ring a bell?
No.
Okay, he's the vibes dude. That's a big thing that he does.
That's
Yeah.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have. I think every library has music every Saturday and Sunday in Loudon.
Oh shit.
Yes. Yeah. There's some that have more performance spaces that they could actually like have a full band. I think Alfred's doing one. Sometimes.
Yeah, I know
saw
Alfred
something about
does
that.
some,
Yeah.
and I know Trimbley does some.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was like John Coker
No.
cooking it up.
Not at all. There's a lady I emailed, and then yeah,
That's
and
hella sick.
they like me because this instrument's weird, and I bring a little step. I usually steal it from someone in the library. Bring
For
a tiny
little
step stool.
kids.
Yeah, no, I put them on this side. I just play in E flat blues and hand them out. Say hit whatever you want.
That's
and it's a good
pretty
time.
sick.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also a spectacle. Like this is just, I don't know. There's like 5 or 6 vibes guys in like the whole DC area, but I don't know if there's any in like on the Nova side. Are there any?
I can't think of any, honestly.
Yeah.
Just brand yourself as one. No one needs to know you live in West Virginia.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
I live in Falls Church.
I live in
Like, Falls Church.
the thing that sucks is it's because gigs are more sparse by me. It's easier to book duo or trio things. So I don't get to play drums almost ever because all the gigs I book are on this. Because
At least now you got that Eric Bird session where you're playing drums, though, right?
I'm not even in the house band for that. It's just he just keeps calling me. It hasn't been a consistent thing. I get a call.
So are you subbing for Al? Is that what that is, or?
It's far for Al because Al's in Leesburg.
Yeah.
So no. Maybe? I really don't know what the situation is. I know what it has been for the last... I'm playing there again this Sunday. Is this Sunday the 19th? Yeah, I'm playing there this Sunday. Because Eric's not going to be there. Eric was there last time. He called me to play. All of April, he was booked, so he just asked me to fill it, to just find a band for it. Yeah. Strange. It's a fun gig. It's a 2-hour jam. Last time there was 7 drummers. I played 2 tunes and then sat down and drank.
I think that's
Sounds like solace.
Yes. Yeah. For you.
pretty good. Yeah.
Now there's been some guitar players coming out, so I can take a break.
Yeah. Are there that many drummers out in Frederick?
Apparently, yeah.
So Eric does a cool thing. There's a Frederick School of Rock in Frederick.
Where?
Exactly. He runs a class there for like middle school and high school kids, and then he just brings them all to the jam after.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's a great idea. And he has, I think it was last time, he had like the first half hour of the jam was their performance for the class.
Oh.
So the place is packed because
Yeah.
they bring all their parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's usually a lot of kids from that. But then there's 2 or 3 older guys that live out in Frederick or in the surrounding area that come out and play drums. Al came out last time. Yeah, I told Al I want to hear cymbals because apparently everyone's been raving about his cymbals.
Yeah, the Coity stuff is dope.
Yeah.
It's Burke, but I think Burke imports the Coity stuff. I don't really know.
You're speaking. I know none
all
of these
connected.
words.
Yeah. So Burke is in North Carolina, but
Okay.
Coity's the Japanese stuff.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if he's an importer or if he's an actual cymbalsmith importing blanks and hammering.
Yeah.
But they sound great.
That's what I've been told.
It's fiery.
I was saying the stick he likes has like been maybe discontinued, so he's been hoarding them.
Yeah.
See,
Are you that picky about picks?
I've had the same pick for like a few years,
Okay.
honestly.
If you lose it, are you gonna be sad?
No. Actually, I have. I don't know. I have like weird attachment issues with like random stuff. And like when I had like I use like a little like pick pouch that I keep on my keys, and like I was walking on the subway like when I was up in Philly for school, and the clasp of it unbuckled when I was walking into the subway, and my $20 pick fell into the cracks of it. And ever since then, I'm like, never again. And so I bought a pack.
Was a $20 pick worth it?
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Like, people don't really think about the cost of picks because, like, I don't know, it's just a pick, right? But like, they go pretty expensive. Some people pay like $50 or $60 for like a.
I had a friend who played like some tortoise shell thing.
Yeah. Which is illegal apparently now.
Really?
Like some people like you can't buy like actual like bone or shell stuff, but depending on the state, I think. But yeah, I just use a pack of like Dunlops that I like. For what I play, like it just is a little bit softer sounding than some of the thinner picks, and I like it. But I tend to keep them, and then like before I'd be very like I still have my pick that I had throughout college. It's like in a little Ziploc baggie, and there's so many bite marks on that I'm there. So I just keep it like in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm there. I'm like, okay, I gotta retire. This looks creepy. You know, it's all porous all of a sudden. It's supposed to be smooth, and so you could start hearing it like scratch the string. I'm like, no more. But now I just have a pack of them. I bought a pack like 2 years ago, and I'm still using them. So.
Dude, I'm hoarding sticks right now.
Because what, the dude can't get wood and his lathe's broken?
His lathe is back now.
But he has no wood.
But he has no wood. Because his, like, supply chain, I guess, like, where he gets his wood from is, like, they're short-staffed or some shit right now. It's like, bro, I need some sticks. I have, like, 2 more good pairs. But the thing is, my sticks last me, like, 6 months, though. Yeah. So I'm good.
Yeah, like, I'm very lucky that, last year for my birthday, a friend of mine gifted me, like, a gift card to, like, a strings place.
Yeah.
And I bought, like, a bunch of strings, and they've lasted me for about a year now.
Nice.
And I change my strings pretty frequently, but I've been very lazy with this pair just because, like, it sounds fine, you know. But strings are those things that you can spend $10 on or like $50 on, and like for guitar, which, you know, talk to any classical musician, violins and like cellos or basses, you know,
It's
like
way more.
it's significantly way more expensive.
I actually have a guitar here that I don't know what to do with, and I don't know if it needs work.
Probably. Dude, I leave this guitar out in like the humidity. It's a very sensitive guitar. If it gets over humid, that should just like expands, you know. But
Just get an instrument that's a giant chunk of metal. You don't have those problems.
recently,
You don't take a file and like.
I don't know, like there's like a weird appearance about instruments. Like I played a gig with a violinist not so long ago, and they were playing like a weird like material violin.
I like one of the carbon fiber ones.
Yeah, carbon fiber.
Yeah.
It sounded great. I'm there. I'm like, yo, it sounds awesome. And like somebody came up to them after like the gig, and they're like, that sounds too shrill. You should get an acoustic one. I'm there. I'm like,
But
the appearance of it, you know, like it did not sound shrill. It sounded more than fine, but like they thought it sounded shrill because it wasn't wood. You know,
I had one of the first library gigs I played. There was this lady that came up to me, hands over her ears, almost yelling at me, going, "It's too loud. It's too ringy. Turn it down." Because I had a knob, I just turned it. It wasn't even plugged in. I turned the knob, and she was fine. She was happy.
That's the vibrate, the resonant.
But I didn't even have it plugged in. I just went, okay, I'll turn it down.
Is that better?
And then kept playing, and nothing changed because I didn't even have it plugged in or on.
God.
Yeah, like a lot of it is just placebo. Honestly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I get that pretty frequently as a guitar player, which is, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I need the guitar player to turn up. I'm there, I'm like, okay. I guess that was the change for you today.
I think that means everyone else should play quiet.
I don't know.
But you're generally pretty quiet, though.
Yeah.
Good.
I really appreciate, because...
See?
Anyway,
You said it here first, you know.
the trio with Yumi and Cooney's really fun to play in because we pay attention to volume.
Huh, who would have thought that had anything to do with it?
Yeah.
I can't play loud. I just...
Yes, you can. It just takes you a beer and a half.
Yeah, he withheld that
As soon as you build
comment
up.
from earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. What you feeling? Two. Jazz. Quiet jazz.
Quiet jazz or quiet stars.
Yeah, so for a while I thought maybe Adam Pfluger was the quietest guitar player around here. You're quieter.
Damn, I'm gonna go beat him up for the title of it.
But quietly.
That's dope, because like you're not playing very hard.
No, not at all.
It's
I mean,
like, it's
feel these.
nice.
I also, they're really friggin' heavy.
Did you wound these yourself?
I just got them, brand new. That's why.
Well, they just
You
show
get a
off.
lot of, there's a lot of fundamental out of it.
Yeah.
That's, the other ones I have, these in theory are the same, and in theory are the same diameter rattan, but those feel thicker. And then I've got these Dave Samuel ones that have a brass core. This is what I whip out now.
DS18, my favorite mallet
Yes.
of all time.
This is what I whip out instead of the Bolter Greens whenever I need to be louder now. Because you can get...
Damn, yeah, that sounds solid, yeah.
Yeah, but it's awful. Like all that, the really bright
Sounds like
compared
a
to...
bell and like a ring or something, you know, just...
This is so much fatter. This is like nasally and thin compared
Huh.
to... And that's... It helps, it cuts more.
Yeah.
These are warmer.
I feel like the DS18 feels soft to me, because most of the time I'm playing Bolter Greens.
Yes, exactly. And those are insanely soft compared to the Bolter Greens.
Yeah.
Because the Bolter Greens, you like tap it and it's like...
Yeah, those also look like penises.
I mean, isn't that part of it? If yours looks like that, bro, you should probably go to a doctor, man. Like, that's
Low
concerning.
blue? Hey,
Yeah,
man.
there I'm
Like,
like, something's wrong. Yeah, something's not right.
They're just... There's no different. They're pretty much the same shape, man.
no, it's that little hole at the top, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
looks like pee comes out of it.
To me.
That one's... Yeah.
Beer? Soda?
I'm not even done with beer one, man.
What sodas you got?
This is a poppy? It's pretty fucking good.
Sure, I'll take one. I've never had it before in my life. You know, it's only like 600% alcohol. You'll be fine.
So what was your record, tune, or thing that got you into jazz?
It's
So-
solid. It's awesome.
Right?
Yeah,
Dude,
that's great.
poppy, man.
Dude, I down soda so quickly. I'm a recovering soda addict, so like this shit is great.
So what happened was I went to a jam session
Mm-hmm.
with just a bunch of friends to hang out, and it's like, holy shit, this is fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do with the rest of my life. That's what that was.
Cool.
The drummer was Jeff Mars.
I don't know.
Don't know Jeff Morris.
It just sounds like an appropriate moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that guy.
But yeah, I think like a few weeks, I hit him up right after, and I started taking lessons with him.
Cool.
So he was like my teacher I saw twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I took a lesson with somebody different every month for
Nice.
like a good while.
Nice.
That's such an interesting question.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good question.
but that was it, man. Jeff Morris. I saw that dude play. It's like, that's the shit. It was a jam session at Grant and Green in San Francisco. Mike Olmos is the guy hosting the session. But
What
it's
you
also
got?
why I play weird shit.
You don't though. I mean, it's not like it's not in the box bebop, but it's not anything. Yeah, it's not anything that's too whack.
It's
I don't
gotten
know.
a lot more in the box
that's
over the years, is what it is.
I also have a pretty.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, man. I got a pretty wide net of what I think is acceptable. So.
Me too. Yeah. I used to play violin in orchestra. I was a violinist
Oh,
for a few
shit.
years. Yeah.
Did you do lessons as a kid on it? Did you like do the Zuki thing? 'Cause there's no band.
I self-taught myself for a minute until college, honestly, on guitar. But same thing with violin. It was pretty hard thing to self-teach yourself.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
But no, I always liked it. I always liked a lot of classical music. You know, like the parts we would play, and like it comes weirdly. I don't really listen to music like younger. Like, I didn't really grow up listening to much music, so I never had listened to a full album until I got to college.
Oh dang.
Not college, but high school.
Yeah.
And that's when I started playing guitar more seriously. And my first album was Rest in Peace by Megadeth, you know. And so, like, I love that record.
Dude,
so
buzz that shit out, man.
Marty Freeman solo on, like, you know, Tornado of Souls is iconic. But yeah, I got into that, and then there was, like, a very direct correlation between, like,
Megadeth and jazz.
to, like, Lamb of God to, like, Cannibal Corpse to, like, Dying Fetus, and, like, listening to a bunch of, like, heavier shit. And usually that happens in the span of a few years, but it happened in the span of a few months for me.
Yeah.
So I went to listening from, like, you know, thrash metal to, like, technical death metal in like the span of like half a year. And so I was learning all that. I was like playing this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's awesome. It was great. We had a guitar program in my high school, and it was a good friend of mine teaches. His name is Keith Owens, great guy, and he ran that program for many years, and he got us into like listening to music that we wouldn't really listen to, and they needed a violinist for like their gypsy jazz group, and I had never played a gig before. I'd never sight read a chart before, and I just showed up to squeak my way through. But I was looking at these guitar players, man, they're doing this stuff, and I'm like, yo, that looks so cool. That looks way cooler. Let me try to like, do that. And so I just like try to copy that and like just steal their shapes and whatnot. But
Do
like,
you bust out any of the metal shit when you're playing?
Did that translate to violin?
From violin?
Yeah.
It's gotta, right? Well, like, because most of my favorite guitar players are all like ex-metalheads.
I guess we were one and the same, you know.
But that's hysterical. You went like hard the other way with volume.
Well, I think it's like, I guess so. I've had my fix, you know. Like I don't need to. But like going into it, you know, there's a lot of technique things that like really translate over, you know.
Yeah.
From like violin and metal doing like what I do now. But as a violinist, I guess it instilled the reading music aspect of things. Like I remember vividly the summer I realized the guitar was chromatic. I'm like, oh shit, you know? I sat down, I had like a wall of papers, like loose leaf paper, where I was like E, F, F sharp, G sharp, and I went all the way up to the 12th, and I'm like, yo, that's so cool. And then like, I went down, I'm like, E flat, D, you know, like, it was phenomenal. And like that moment of curiosity, just I was there, I'm like, oh, I pulled the thread too far, you know, and so like I started like going into it. But because of that, like I was able to read some of like the piano, like the violin music I had.
Yeah.
And so I'm there. I'm like, oh, there's one melody that's like single note lines. I'm like, what the hell is a sharp? Okay. And a lot of the technique like kind of like inspired over. Like I have a relatively light touch on my instrument, so I can like play with some pretty low like action.
Yeah.
And like if I don't, it buzzes. But if I don't. It sounds like shit, you know, honestly, if I like overemphasize on it. And this guitar in particular is very unforgiving, you know, it's a very sensitive instrument. But yeah, so a lot of the violin stuff came through, like my lighter touch and like the way I like let notes breathe with that kind of came through with that. And, you know, they're not so tuned so differently, you know, like violin is just tuned in like what fits, and guitars and fourths. If you squint, that's kind of like the same thing, basically, you know. You can kind of ignore it. No, it was a huge difference, man. It was. But yeah, and then I auditioned for colleges, and that's when I learned my first standards, you know.
That's
and
cool.
I remember and I still prefer this overall. Like it was always weird. Like guitar program we had a lot of solidarity. That was like the big thing, like the solidarity between instrumentalists, between guitar players in particular. And so we'd always get together after school or during classes or during lunch and just sit down and play tunes. Like, not even like tunes, but just like jam on a riff or something. And like that sort of social aspect of thing was extremely misleading on the world that I was going to get into. Because like, you would hope that'd be more common. But like, especially like once you get out of college and everything, it's like harder to find people that want to just jam. You know?
What happened to the living room sessions?
Yeah.
Like,
you know, I do that. Like, I always try to like at least jam with like a person a week type situation. And like, it's fairly difficult because it's like obviously not paid, you know, and so like a lot of people like see the cash sign and they're like, nah, you know, I'm not gonna waste my time on this. I'm there, I'm like, okay, you know, but you learn more like that, I think, you know, like you share ideas, like, oh, check out the way like you voice this thing, like, you know, and I'm there, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would he do that? Why not like this? And they're like, oh, I guess that works, you know. And I'm like, we just change ideas, and it's always a lot more fun. So like that kind of social aspect of it, you know, I had a really great friends from high school that we get together and jam that kind of inspired playing a lot more. And like I auditioned for jazz because it was hard, and I somehow ended up here, so here I'm at, just chilling, you know. Yeah, just getting into it out of curiosity. I think it wasn't easy, so I was there. I'm like, oh,
I picked drums because I didn't want to read music.
Look at you now. It's
blatantly the reason. I think I was like 10. My parents told me and my older sister were like, "Hey, do you guys want to do music lessons?" And my sister picked piano, and I'm like, "I'll do drums. I don't want to read."
Yep,
that didn't work.
And here you are reading on vibes.
Yeah, I don't see any music in front of me. No, but I initially wanted to try to go to school for mechanical engineering, and then I realized that math did not cooperate with my brain. So music was the other thing that I did, because I did lessons forever. I went to community college, did lessons, and the ensemble they had was a jazz band. And that was the first time I ever heard any jazz. Or no, I take that back. My first teacher gave me Night Train. That was the first jazz record I ever heard. And then I heard Late Coltrane. I'm like, oh. And that was the thing.
That's crazy, man. Going from like that into like live in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, like Neo. I'm like, yo, I'm out.
sick.
Yeah, that's a fun tune.
Dude, that's such an underrated tune, man.
That's a tune that doesn't get called much at all.
Sadly, I love it. Like, and then I'm like, let's play this, and they're like, no. And they're like, oh, come on. It's like right next to Satin Doll in the real book too. Like that's like the song spot. I'm not even joking. Real book like 6th edition, like it's right there. You know.
Damn, that's a good tune. Like you were like Saga. It's like Harrison Craft Feathers.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. Like really?
It's a fun one, man.
You can imagine like 19-year-old me looking at this on there. I'm like, Satin Doll.
Saga.
Yo.
So much cooler.
And then I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. With a name like that, I gotta learn it.
There's only, I think I've only ever found like 1 or 2 recordings of it too.
I only like Steve Coon's version. Everything
Yeah, I think-
else is some like weird like European people that like have like the weirdest lyrics over them. And
They're really depressing lyrics, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's
yeah, so they're
not
pretty dark.
happy.
But I don't like that it's like out of tune. Also, like I'm there, I'm like that is an E. You know? It's there, and I'm like, yo, that's whack. But it's so great. It's like a bunch of really cool stuff there.
So you guys play together quite a bit then.
We have.
If you're calling tunes like that and you both know it, like
We might both know that just because Eugenio.
Actually, I made him learn it. I'll take this for credit because like me and him were playing that, and I was like, please.
what are the weird shit you guys play together or have played together?
So his tunes.
In my tunes. I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm like I forgot how to play instrument all of a sudden. You know.
As a drummer, apparently I write weird melodies. I'm sorry you can't.
No,
read
I honestly it's on me. It's on me. Like,
no, it's I write.
yeah, it's a good tune. Like I don't know.
You call
Falling
that one-
Grace.
Falling Grace. That's another one.
It has a hard
We don't have to.
You sure?
Yeah, that's not. I forgot.
Yeah. You're running long.
Apparently. I don't remember why. I think I learned that one. It's just a pretty tune, and I don't know if it's like vibists are assumed to know that one because it's like a big Burton tune.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I guess I'm packing up because I gotta bounce. But
Yeah.
thank you for having me and like
Thanks
thanks
for rolling
playing.
through,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on short notice.
I wish I had more time. I wish I had better time, but.
Yeah.
You too, man.